Hello and welcome to another preview for the World Para Fencing Championships taking place in Iksan, Korea at the beginning of September. We're all very excited about it. I'm Karim Bashir and I'm joined by one of the experts in the commentary box in Iksan. It's Lauryn DeLuca. Lauryn, we've got an interesting topic to talk about for this little video, and that is I mean, I don't really know what all these words mean, but the millennials and the Gen Zers basically challenging the established order in the sport of para fencing. Sport is in constant evolution. It's constantly developing. But are we really seeing a big growth in the sport that's meaning that these younger athletes are starting to challenge the more established names?
I think so. So looking at who will be joining us in World Championships in Iksan, Korea, we have 9 returning first-time medalists from Paris. Most of them were millennials, but also 2 of them were Gen Zers. And this is really thinking about how do we change the sport? How does these fresh talent and candidly new talent, how does that change our atmosphere in development of our sport?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen in Olympic fencing in Tokyo, for example, for slightly different reasons, you know, when the world stopped and we all had to stay at home. But it meant that the Olympic fencing developed probably very similar to all other sports in silos. So you didn't really see, because no one was traveling and competing against each other, certainly not outside of their zone anyway. So we saw the likes of Chun Ka-long from Hong Kong suddenly appearing on the piste at Tokyo 2020 in the men's foil event, fencing half a step closer to his opponent than we'd ever seen before. And nobody could handle it. He went on to win the title, not only in Tokyo, but he defended it in Paris as well. So sport develops all the time. So are we seeing para fencing, because of the growth and the new countries getting involved, people coming with different ideas?
I think there's a bit of that, but I also think there is a thing like age that really does impact an athlete the longer they're in the sport. Para fencing is really hard on the body, especially if you think your trunk muscles and also your arms. I know for me, as a para fencer, in my disability, I get only being able to use my right arm and using my right arm for fencing. My longevity in the sport was cut short because of that medical kind of compoundedness. So really thinking about too is the longer you're in the sport, your body can get wear and tear. So now we have these newer fencers who don't have the wear and tear, and they can lunge super far. They can go fast because their bodies are they're not damaged yet. But I also think these new fencers, they have such a love for the sport, and you really see that in their fencing and how they approach the piste.
Yeah, fascinating. Can't wait to see some of these youngsters in Korea. And speaking of Korea, they reinvented Olympic fencing when Beijing won the rights to host the Olympic Games, and the Korean hop became a thing in Olympic fencing. Are they a force in para fencing now?
I think they are. So again, looking at the list of 2024 medalists who will be coming to the world, we have Kwon from Korea, Gen Zer. She was able to be on the podium in Paris, also with not a lot of experience under her belt. So I know for sure that Kwon and Team Korea is definitely a home crowd rooting for them, and hopefully we'll see them on the podium.
Speaking of the crowd, I mean, yes, obviously the Koreans are going to be very partisan. They're going to be supporting their own, but they're generally in sport a very respectful nation. But on the whole, at para fencing World Cups and continental championships, what's the atmosphere like? What can we expect from the crowd in Korea?
I think in general, for this upcoming World Championships in Iksan, Korea, it's going to be a crowd that is just there to, again, support the home team, but also to celebrate the triumph of the human spirit. I think that's the one thing I love the best about Paralympics. It's that camaraderie and celebration of life, and also how we as people with disabilities overcome challenges set forth by society, and how we're all there to support each other, kind of sticking it to the man in some sort of sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And I think some able-bodied people, people without a visible disability, sometimes struggle, find that, you know, getting a bit embarrassed about it all. But actually, we've all got our own disabilities, and I certainly have. That they're just not as visible. You know, I'm not walking around with any kind of aid of any sort. So I think it is. Sticking it to the man is a brilliant way of putting it. I like that. Look, getting back to the establishment and whether it's going to remain in place. When you see an athlete succeed, it's amazing. When you see them succeed time and time and time again, it's really hard to put into words how difficult that is. But as para fencing is growing, do you think it's going to be harder for people to not just get to the top, but to stay there for a long period of time?
I definitely think so, and I think it's a combination of many factors why it's going to be harder to stay on top. I think we now have more events where athletes can train and compete against people outside of their home countries. We now have new fencers that are coming in and trying out new techniques. We also have technology now that allows athletes to fully understand how their body's performing and to make those minor adjustments, like 1 centimeter, that means a lot in para fencing. And I think how technology and how everyone's competing to be the best pushes each other to the podiums always new.
Yeah, leaving no stone left unturned. Fascinating. Cannot wait to get to Iksan, have you sit next to me and literally go, so Lauryn, what is going on here? Because you guys are, yourself and Cyril have been fantastic in our prep for Korea, and I can't wait to get in the box. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Join myself and Lauryn in Korea at the beginning of September.